So the book is called Uso Ritual da Ayahuasca, and it is divided in three parts. The first part is called Ayahuasca Among Forest People. This idea of forest people, it's a concept that was born in the 1989 meetings of Chico Mendes in the Alliance of the Forest People in the Amazon. That was a political moment in the Amazon when a lot of populations of the Amazon decided to get together and do some sort of manifest for land rights and other kinds of rights. So it's an umbrella concept that includes not only indigenous groups, but also mestizo groups and other kinds of populations, like people that collect fruits of trees and other local activities that are not necessarily taken as traditional, but that within this context became traditional, that were recognized as traditional peoples, traditional dwellers of the forest. So this first part of the book, it has a series of articles on the use of ayahuasca among these populations. You have like local ethnical groups that use ayahuasca, like the Kaxinawa. Above all, many Pano groups of the Pano, language group. And also we did there are some articles on the vegetalistas, which is on the other side of the border, mainly in Peru and Colombia, that is like a mestizo use of ayahuasca that unites some pan-ethnical characteristics of the use of ayahuasca. So it's a little bit a combination of elements of different indigenous tribes together with some Christian, esoterical, European influence. So it's post-colonialism, and it's above all a modality of therapeutical use of ayahuasca, a modality of use of ayahuasca which is not traditional necessarily to indigenous populations, whose shamanism would be maybe more related to other issues such as hunting or witchcraft or war, and more cosmological basis of organizing society and stuff like that. This mestizo uses, it's more like therapeutical, related to like a patient shaman relationship. So we have that, and also we have on the side of Brazil the rubber tappers that use ayahuasca, and this is a very neat part of the story that is kind of unknown still. It's very much unresearched, because there's virtually just about like none. It's 2 articles that I know of, so it would be like a cool missing link, sort of. That is the Brazilian version of the vegetalistas, so our caboclos, our mestizos, that do some informal sessions where they hang in hammocks, and also they listen to recorded music. And there are some local prophets too, that walk around telling about the end of the world. So this is the first part of the book, Ayahuasca entre os povos da floresta. The second part of the book, it's called the Brazilian Ayahuasca Religions. That was an expression that we invented, and I'm happy to see that this invention became active and kind of got life. It got out to the world, and people now use this term as if it was a native term, but it's an anthropological category, because the groups, they don't call themselves religiões ayahuasqueiras brasileiras. They call themselves, I am Santo Daime, I am União do Vegetal, I am Barquinha. So this term was used to kind of unite all the groups as a same phenomenon, or not a same, but a like phenomenon, something that could be related. And it could be criticized maybe to have some sort of pharmacological emphasis on the term, because why do you define these religions based on the fact that they use this substance, or the fact that they use this substance necessarily make them family? But anyway, we chose it's of course our interest in them. The substance is very Western way to look at this phenomenon. It's our interest. So there is Santo Daime, Barquinha, and União do Vegetal. And then we have a series of articles of cosmological, historical, political aspects. And the book also aims to be a little bit voice of the natives, voice of the anthropologists, and there's also other specialties, other disciplines. It wants to be a little bit, give space to everybody. So there are some representatives of the churches that sign the papers, and the papers also give rise to the conflicts that are underneath the field. So they show, problems of competition. There's many ways to read the book. If you have this reading, you can see, some articles, I think there are more data than analysis themselves. And then the third part is called Medical and Scientific Research on Ayahuasca. And what we tried to do there was to translate to Portuguese some researches that had been ironically only published in English before, such as the Ayahuasca Project, which I'm sure it's very famous, I don't have to explain. And that was done in Brazil, that was done with the UDV, but it was not available in Portuguese. So we translated that, and there's also another article about Jurema Ayahuasca and, pharmacological mysteries of, ayahuasca analogs. And Benny Shannon has an article in this part. So this book took 5 years to be made, and this is my most cherished book. It's like my little son. I really love this book. This book is very much important to me. It was a big struggle to make it. We had 8 original articles in foreign languages. We took ages. We had millions of problems, egos, people tripping out. But then this book made me really a person too, because I got a lot of credibility with this book, and I started to go around and give lectures and be called and go out and help, media reports and government talks. And this book it's like a classic reference now in Brazil.